Hey guys, welcome back to I'm Just a Fan. It's your host Ben, and today we're going to be talking about the Knicks advancing in 6. They beat the Pistons. What is going to happen going forward with the team? Let's get into it. First, we have to touch on the fact that Brunson, with a huge shot in the fourth quarter, crosses up Thompson, one of the better defenders for the Pistons, for a huge three to send the Knicks to the second round to go play the Boston Celtics. What a game for Brunson. It wasn't his best at times, but when he needed to be clutch, which he did win Clutch Player of the Year this year, he again makes the big shot. So I have to give a ton of credit to Jalen Brunson. And again, it wasn't his best night. He actually ended up shooting 4 for 16 in the fourth quarter alone, which is honestly atrocious. You should not be shooting that many shots. But at the same time, again, I can't take it away from him, the fact that he did end up hitting that big of a shot. That's huge. But even the Knicks in general, they didn't really look too good, especially at the end of that fourth quarter. I thought heading into the fourth quarter that this game was wrapped up. It was probably 11, 12-point game, something like that. But that wasn't the case. Detroit, again, came back fighting. They came back with a ton of momentum as well. And they almost got there. I really thought that the Knicks were honestly going to choke that game. I really thought they were, but that just wasn't the case. And again, the Knicks ended up making a couple big buckets down the stretch. I remember Bridges had a huge tip-in from a missed Brunson shot. And then, of course, obviously Brunson, again, as I've alluded to now 3 times, Brunson hits the huge shot, ends the game. And then Malik Beasley ends up just not catching the ball. Like, I don't know what that was. Terrible stuff from the Pistons down the stretch in that last minute and a half. Cade Cunningham didn't make some great decisions either. But again, that's a young team. It's their first time really being in this scenario. You would expect the Knicks to obviously be more well-prepared just because they've been there. More of their players have had that experience. So I'm not shocked that happened to the Pistons, but the series really was up for grabs. It really was up for grabs, especially with the missed foul call in Game 4. So there was a lot on the line, but again, the Knicks get it done, and congratulations to them. I thought this was such an interesting series overall. Again, I was actually correct about my predictions. I had Knicks in 6, so I saw this going a little bit of the distance. I did. I didn't think Detroit were just a slouch team, especially with the energy from their crowd. And I have to give a ton of credit to Detroit's crowd. They were bringing it the entire time for all the games that they did host. I think it was 3. They were really bringing it. So again, Detroit sports, they're kind of on a little bit of a renaissance right now. You got the Lions, the Tigers, and you got the Pistons now. So again, something to be happy for Detroit. But back to what I was saying. It was just such an interesting series. I know a lot of people thought maybe the Knicks in 5. I thought that was a little too generous for me personally, just because the Knicks haven't beat any elite teams this year. That's really not been their mantra. I mean, they beat the Celtics once in the regular season, but they really haven't stepped up to the occasion many times this year. So going purely off that, I was like, you know what? It's going to be a tough game for the Knicks, or not, a tough series. And that's why I had it going 6. For me, what caught me by surprise was at times this Knicks offense just does not look good. It's so stagnant. It's so ISO ball. Just really give the ball to Brunson. Everyone space out. A lot of bad offense. So was not a huge fan of that. That shocked me. Was just a little shocked on how that was. And then also this is just for the NBA in general, but specifically this series as well. Man, this has been a physical series. A lot of tempers flaring as well. Guys were getting into it. Tobias Harris, he was going after it. Paul Reed, 2 Philly guys that I got a lot of love for, but not Tobias Harris, Paul Reed, but still, it was a physical game throughout the series, and I'm very mixed on how I like that being called with the NBA, because on one end, I do like the physicality. I feel like it brings those tempers up a little bit more. But at the same time, the foul calls were still, I don't know, some of the Brunson calls, I don't hate most of them, but some of them were not my favorite, to say the least. So I don't know. The NBA's got to kind of figure it out. It's still very ticky-tack, and they pretty much flip the rules once they get to the playoffs. I don't know. But overall, I thought it was a very interesting series. Again, the Pistons made this interesting. They go into MSG 2 out of 3 times and beat the Knicks. Like, that's something I feel like people aren't really talking about as much. Like, that was such an advantage last year for the Knicks in the playoffs. And the fact that the Pistons did that twice on the road, that was huge. So overall, great series. I thought it was some great basketball, and it's really all an NBA fan wants out of this. I really love what the Pistons have heading into the future. Cade Cunningham finally got to show the world how good of a player he is. I've been watching him the last couple years. So excited to see him on the big stage, and he definitely showed up. Obviously, had some struggles down the stretch in Game 6, but overall, I thought he played very, very good throughout the series, was making a ton of tough shots, seemed to overall step up to the moment at most times, and didn't really look, again, afraid of the moment either. So I was very, very pleased with how he performed, and I'm just glad that more people are starting to really see how good of a player he is because, again, it's the Pistons. The Pistons have not been relevant for the last couple of years now, so the world has finally been able to see how Cade Cunningham has been as a player. Another couple guys I just want to give shout-outs to. Duran, I love what this guy brings down low. He's not your typical center, not huge, but man, is he physical. He's physical, but he's still got the length. Great rebounder, great defense, and just overall great hustler. I really liked the pick for the Pistons a couple years ago. I forget exactly where I wanted him to go. Can't remember, but still, I thought it was a great pick for the Pistons, and he looks like he could be, the center of the future. Again, I am at times concerned with his size, but he really makes people work. I mean, he definitely was making cat work, so I really like what I see from Duran. Excited to see his game evolve, and then Thompson. Man, this guy's got some fantastic defense. Again, similar to Duran, he makes you work. He, again, will get in your face. He's going to track you. I mean, he made it hard for Brunson. Brunson even said in one of his press conferences, I think it was last night maybe, that he really made him work. Like, he made him work. And we saw that, again, 4 for 16 in game 6. I don't have all of the shots, the shot logs up right now, but Brunson didn't have a ton of fantastic shooting nights, so again, that's a ton of credit to Thompson because again, he was just bringing that defense. If he can just work a little bit more on his offensive game, I think he could really, really become a huge player in the NBA. But yeah, I'm just loving what the Pistons got going on for their core, for their future heading into again next season, the season after that. We'll see. I would say the only other thing that I want the Pistons to do, and this is really, I guess, depending on Jaden Ivey, is I would like to really see them get another scorer that can take a little bit of pressure off of Cade Cunningham, just to relieve that pressure a little bit and just be like, hey, we have another guy that can go get 20, 25. We don't need you to expand all of your energy. Because Cade is a guy that gets assists, rebounds. He does it all. If they could just give the ball to someone else to just, 15, 20, 25, depending on the night, I think it would really help out the Pistons long term. And again, will Ivy be that guy? I'm not sure. Again, he was hurt this year, but maybe they make a trade. Maybe they, sign someone in free agency. I wouldn't say Detroit's obviously the most attractive free agency option, but at the same time, they have a good team, a young team, and they really seem to be building a culture there. So if I was an NBA free agent and I fit that team, it would be a destination I would look at. But that's what I want for the Pistons heading into the future. Moving forward in this series against the Celtics, the Knicks need to be better. They need to be better. Any Knicks fan, let me know down below, because again, I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm not as tapped into the fan base. I don't think I know, at least from the internet, I have not seen a ton of Knicks fans being not necessarily excited. They're excited they moved on, but confident, like, oh, we're going to beat the Celtics. No, because, again, as I said earlier in the video, they have not beaten many elite teams this year. They beat the Celtics once. They played, I think, 3 or 4 times. They haven't really beaten them many times. And again, this series should not have been that close, but the Knicks made it that close. They couldn't close out games in MSG 2 out of 3 times. Again, the foul that wasn't called against Hardaway, that could have resulted in a Pistons win. We could be talking about a Game 7 right now. Like there were so many there's so many moments that I just was like, man, the Knicks need to be better. Closing games, thought it could have been better. And again, as I said earlier, the offense, it's so Jalen Brunson dominated at times, which I like Brunson. He's a good player. But you have to remember, you have OG, you have Bridges, you have Campaign, who scored and went off in game one in that fourth quarter. You have Karl Anthony Towns. You have guys that can hit shots. You don't need to force the ball to Brunson. I know he's efficient at getting to the line, but you don't need to do that stuff. It's just not mandatory, in my opinion. So I really think the Knicks need to clean that offense up a little bit. And again, I just mentioned him as well. Yes, Cat is a great player to rely on, but he's got to be better as well. I think defensively he's going to get worked in this series versus Celtics. It's going to be tough going against KP and some of those bigger bodies that they have. And he dropped 10 points 2 out of 6 games. That's not enough. That's just not enough. Yes, he did hit the huge shot, the dagger. I think that was game 4. Yes, game 4 if I remember correctly. But still, you need more out of your star center. You just need more. He fouls out as well in game 6. You just can't have that stuff. And again, competition is rising. The NBA playoffs, once you hit the second round, there are really not a lot of bad teams anymore, or okay teams. These are all good teams. And you're going against, in my opinion, the best team in the Eastern Conference, the Boston Celtics. You can't do any of this stuff. So I'm curious to see how do the Knicks respond? Can they handle going against the Celtics? It's going to be way better offensively. The Celtics are better at shooting threes. The Celtics have more experienced players. The Celtics have a better coach with Joe Maz. There's a lot of things to consider as a Knicks fan and the Knicks in general that they need to game plan for. So I just think the Knicks, if they want to even think about a championship or going to the ECF, you really got to lock in because Boston is not going to be playing any games this series. Overall, those are my thoughts on the Knicks advancing. Again, congratulations to the Knicks. I can't say I'm happy for them because I'm just not a Knicks guy, but they are a very fun team to watch. I'm curious to see how this whole dynamic with Bridges and Cat works out. Again, it's the first year. Is Brunson going to continue to get to the line next series? And just overall the matchups that are going to be occurring in the next series with Boston and the Knicks. I think that's going to be super interesting. 2 huge East Coast markets. I know a little bit about that. That's going to be a good time just from a fan base perspective. I want to see those two fan bases go at it. And again, it's just going to be interesting. I'm interested in seeing that. But as I spoke on earlier, the Knicks just need to be more efficient. They need to be more efficient. You can't play with your food as much as they did with Detroit. So curious to see how they adapt playing the Celtics. And yeah, I'll break that one down in the predictions video I plan on putting out soon. But that's all I got for you guys today. If you made it this far in the video, would really, really appreciate if you could give me a like. Drop any of your thoughts below in the comment section. And if you like my type of content, feel free to subscribe. I'm going to be continuing to be covering the NBA playoffs. So yeah, if you enjoy it, stay with me. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Peace, guys.